This is going to be our last video of the sequence showcasing the power of Cardano DeFi. We're going to go the other way so that you can see what it's like to repay a loan and help your health factor out, because right now at the current time doing this video, the markets are in a slight retracement. It's a perfect opportunity to show you the repay function in Liqwid Finance. And then there's two ways that you can adjust your health factor. Let's take that low health factor position that I have and show you how that works. So here we are on Liqwid Finance V2 in the original position where we supplied that copy and then we took out that 5,000 ADA loan. And that health factor is doing well, right? Both of those prices are kind of where they were when we came in, and we keep an eye on that. But this health factor, because the price of ADA is declining in value, right? So your collateral, if your collateral is declining in value against your borrow, your health factor is going to go down. If ADA would go up in value, if it would go back to 70 cents, in this case, in comparison to a stable coin that's pegged to the dollar, this health factor is going to shoot up to like near the 2.0 mark. Okay, but because we have the health factor declining as the price is declining, we're going to showcase a repay. Okay, and there's two forms that we could do that. You could just take DJED and repay, and that's what we're going to do. You can also, and that'll adjust your health factor. You can also supply a little bit of ADA, and then that'll help your health factor out too. And I think for the purposes of this video, I'll do both of these for you. I'll do both of these for you so you can see. All right. Thank you. Thank you for inspiring me to do both of these actions for you so that you can see. Cheers to you right there. And I hope that there's an equal exchange of just value that we can gain from each other doing these processes. Okay. And you're going to see that when we do this, you're going to get more bang for your buck as far as increasing your health factor by repaying the loan than you will if you supply ADA to adjust your health factor, right? Because if we put more ADA over here on the supply and then lock that in as collateral, it's going to offset the borrow, right? It's going to add to it. It's going to add to our supply side, okay? And obviously, when we repay DJED, it's going to take out some of our debt and offset the health factor. Both are good for us. Okay, so sometimes you might not have the DJED, but you might have some ADA, and you need to come in and adjust your health factor. And so you're like, okay, in this case, I'll just supply more ADA to get my health factor backed up. Okay, but you always want to have, in our example, right? We took that 5,000 ADA here, and we divided it up into three separate parts, 1,000 ADA each. Invested it in Cardano native projects. And then we have 2,000 left over for the event that something haywire goes on. Okay. So we could use that. And I've done that with DJED also over here. I've done that in several different strategies with the DJED. And if I can quickly take you to Genius Yield, there's also fantastic understanding that in the vault staking, there's so many other directions we can go. There's so many things that you could understand about Cardano DeFi that are powerful for us to understand as community participants and believers in the Cardano ecosystem. And so one of the powers is that when you're involved in several DEXs, there are different opportunities. And a lot of them cross-pollinate. So there's a lot of opportunities on all the DEXs that are the same, equal opportunities in a way. And then there's some unique opportunities in one DEX that another DEX doesn't have to offer, right? And so Cornucopias is where I was able to stake on Vi Finance. And over here in Genius Yield, I could stake GENS tokens, but I can't do that on Vi Finance. And there are things in MinSwap that are advantageous that some of the other DEXs don't have. But right now in Genius Yield, just to give you an example, because I have some GENS tokens that participated in their earlier offerings and incentives, I've been staking GENS and GENS X tokens for quite some time. And so one of the powers is that if you're stake GENS tokens in the vault, okay, you are going to get a portion of 20% of the fees that are traded on Genius Yield DEX overall. So it's just a whole different animal than what ViFi does. Okay. And so for my participation, you're going to get all these tokens. Okay. I kind of move my head out of the way, but in my vault staking, you're going to get gens. You're going to get a portion of all the tokens traded over time. Okay. And so if you look down here, look, there's a couple JED, right? So there's almost 7 JED. And so as you're participating in several aspects of Cardano DeFi, you could take advantage of some of these rewards and then use some of those gains to come over and repay your position and your loans. Okay. I might be able to trade some of these other tokens that I might be getting into more JED such that I can then come back and accumulate more JED, because I'm always keeping in mind that to get my 126,000 ADA back, I'm going to need to pay that JED back, right? So I'm always thinking about how I can accumulate JED. And this is one of the reasons I'm showing you 7 JED here, just in this vault. So here we are on Liqwid V1, back to repay the JED. So we're going to repay the JED. So we have the max amount. It is 640. We're just going to type that in, repaying that 640 JED. So our health factor is going to go from 1.277 to 1.302. All right, so it's processing that repay transaction. And there we go. It looks like we repaid that JED. And then so we should see our health factor go from 1.277 to 1.30. All right, and to look at that, what we're going to do is we're going to bounce back over to V2. So here we are on V2, that transaction, that repay is processing. And when that processes, this should bump back up to 1.3, which is, there it goes right there in real time. It's up to 1.3. And so we have now chopped that loan down to from 34,000 down to 33.6, okay, thousand. It's a work in progress. And so that's a big part of what we're doing here, is we're trying to showcase that. Like, I think most people, I was at a blockchain event the other week in Philadelphia, and the guy there, and they're mostly on the Ethereum side of everything, like everyone is, and gets food, he gets pizza for us all, and it's cool. It was right around the Bitcoin pizza day. You know, there's like that week, it's like May, I forget the exact day, where the infamous day where 10,000 Bitcoin was used to purchase pizza at Papa John's between two parties, just to kind of prove that it could be, you know, used as transfer of value. And it's kind of like a celebration type of thing. And for the event, it was cool. The guy was really cool, and he paid for the food and all that using DeFi, and he's talking about DeFi, and he's it's a very staggering conversation where he was like, "Oh, I love DeFi. I love DeFi so much, and Ethereum DeFi, right? Because I get to just like put my Ethereum in there and take out loans." And what he honestly said, like quoting him now, is that he doesn't have to ever pay it back because Ethereum's always going to increase in value against his loan. So he's like, so I just paid for all this stuff, you know? And I'm like, man, people are using DeFi. You can use DeFi for things in the real world. In fact, I think that in my case, in the near future, I'm gonna try and see if I can. Maybe it's gonna be difficult to vlog the experience, but maybe not. Maybe I need to get some help and vlog the experience where I actually bring out a loan and then invest it in real estate, and then get that cash flowing, that real estate property cash flowing, and then use some of the proceeds to bring back and to pay that loan back. I have a real estate license. I do real estate investing and things like that on the side also. So if you're in PA and you need a real estate agent or help with that, hit me up, let me know. And I think that's like the major goal. But what I'm trying to say overall is that I'm not looking at this DeFi world to just lock my collateral and then take a loan out and spend it on stuff that's not going to produce more value. But to each his own. I mean, maybe you want to go ahead and get a loan out and buy a 4-wheeler or something, right? Everybody's got their own stuff that they do, and it's a free market, so everybody can do what they want. But here, what we're showcasing is actually leveraging DeFi to support projects, and then loop that value back into the ecosystem, and loop that value, and just continually looping the value back into the ecosystem and giving back to the ecosystem that has given us so much overall. Okay. And so there we go. We have created one initial step of bringing that health factor back up to 1.3. Okay. And we went over to Liqwid version 1 to do that. And so the health factor is up. Okay. So something's going on. After this video, I'll probably check on the news, but it looks like there's a lot of downward pressure in the markets right now. So it's a perfect time to do this video to show you in real time. And again, when I first started this was around a 2-point-something health factor. So that's why you have those major health factors up at a high level, so that when price volatility goes down in these opposite directions, you are not at risk to get liquidated. So there's a little bit of time for you to get in position. And I'm right now even making that health factor even higher. So the way that I could do these calculations, which I'm not to get into, is that the price of ADA would have to fall well below 40 cents for me to be liquidated here, right? With the ratio that I have going on. And so I'm going to continue to keep my eye on it. But just to show you that I am able to do this in 2 separate ways, I'm going to see if I could right now go ahead and supply a little bit of ADA in this to lock and see if it changes the health factor at all. So let's go ahead and try to supply. So we want to supply ADA. Let's go ahead and just supply, we're going to do 500 ADA. Just going to do something small, 500 ADA. Okay, so it's like $200, nothing crazy. Okay, and we're going to supply ADA. All right, so the transaction submitted. Okay, we successfully supplied ADA. So what we have is we have 126.25 ADA. So we have 126,246 ADA supplied. With that 500 that we just put in there, it'll be, right? It'll be 126,746 ADA supplied. And see, what's going to happen is that's just going to add to our supply here. But we didn't yet lock that up as collateral, right? And so this is what I'm trying to show you. And I think it's very valuable to show you this in the last video to kind of bring things full circle, is that when you go ahead and supply more ADA, it doesn't necessarily, like I could actually then withdraw that 500 ADA back to my account if I wanted to, because I didn't lock it up as collateral. But what I will do is I will lock that up as collateral here to help my health factor over here. Okay. And just to make this a little better, I'll switch it so that, switch the APY so that ADA here, this loan is directly to my JED, and Copy is over here to the ADA. So we haven't done anything with this position yet because the health factor is nice. Okay, and as we sat there and talked, the 126.75 came around, and see how that's my supply, but my collateral is 126.25. Okay, so what we could do is we could go over here and actually lock that up, that extra 500 as collateral to increase the health factor. Let's see if we could do that here. We want to put the max in there. And so you see how you see when we did that, it moved the health factor from 1.3023 to 1.3074. Okay. And so we're going to go, let's go to our settings and go to safe mode. Do we have safe mode on? Safe mode. Let's uncheck safe mode. I think that's what's giving us the trouble here. Please note that by disabling safe mode, you open yourself up to higher risk of liquidation. Yep. Safe mode is a measure that forces you to bring your position above 1.6. So 1.6 is like that safe mode. Because we had that checked, it was not allowing me to modify the loan, right? So I think that's what the problem was when we were originally trying to do it in V2 here. We had to go back to V1. So I think I just figured that out right here in front of us all. V2 is fairly new, right? V2 is fairly new. I've been doing V1 for the longest time. V2's only been out for like a month, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so just showing you that I'm now saying that I'm going to lock all that max ADA, the extra $500, and it's going to give me more of a health factor. Now, not much, right? And like I said before, it's less. It's gonna help your health factor less than it would if you repaid. So if you repay directly the loan, it helps your health factor a lot more. Okay, so it's not the best solution to just continue to add more supply. I'm just showing it because sometimes sometimes you must do something to make your health factor good if prices go down a lot. And so we're going to modify that loan. Okay, so it's going to batch. And so the supplies here, that extra 500 ADA is going to also then get locked over here. That's collateral, and it's going to help our health factor out just a smidge, just a little bit. Okay. So those are both avenues. All right. And that's what you can do with JED. It's outside of the strategy behind what we did, but it shows you. Okay. You see how it switched right there in real time to 1.31. Okay. And the total collateral locked is at 126.75. And this should say this will also say 1.27. 27. Yeah, it'll adjust to be there you go, right in real time. It just did that. Okay. The UTXOs finally aligned themselves. So now we have our supplies increased, and that 508 is going to get staked a little bit in there. We're going to get rewards for that market participation through Liqwid. And then the health factor is at 1.31. We just increased it a little bit. And I just showed you 2 ways on how you can help your health factor out, okay, in a real live position. And to show you the market participation and things like that, that give you some value, we can go to Liqwid Rewards also. So we're at Liqwid Rewards here. Okay. And so look, check this out. So since I've been starting, I have claimed over 1,000 Liqwid tokens just in this wallet. Remember, we have 2 accounts. That's another reason. That's another strategy. So what can you do with the Liqwid tokens you get? You could stake them. You could trade them. You can hold them. You can use them to leverage to get JED back to pay your loan or whatever. There's so many things. There's so many directions that we could go. Okay, so staking rewards. Okay, I'm getting 50% staking rewards because I have the Liqwid Aqua Farmer NFT staked in there and market participation. I actually claim them every couple months, right? So I'll probably claim them again in July. But if you just look at all these unclaimed, 9, Liqwid 9, okay, 11 Liqwid here for market participation. See if it actually registers the participation that we did. No, so it's not even registering the participation that we used for this entire sequence that's going to come later. Okay, but 43 ADA, you're actually getting ADA also, okay? And just to show you, okay, that we're getting Liqwid and ADA back in our rewards section of Liqwid Finance, which is just fantastic, right? I'm not going to claim them right now, but it just shows you the power of Cardano DeFi, okay? And the power of Liqwid Finance protocol. These 7 videos have been a progression of time, of moves, maneuvers, strategies, thought processes. We have executed harvesting rewards from a staking vault that actually began participating in the Cornucopia's ISPO. That's kind of where that started, way before the tokens even were available. We've diversified into 6 actually, 3 that I showed you and then 3 others, 6 different projects that could have the potential to rise higher in price against ADA, such that we'll still be able to hold on to those projects and just take the cream off the top to repay that loan back and get our cornucopias back. Okay? And so I'm so happy to have presented this to you all here, and I'm excited for the future of Cardano DeFi in a massive way. We have that catalyst proposal written and submitted for you all to get in position for not just to vote on the Cryptofluency project, but to see what's going on in the Cardano ecosystem at large, okay, which is extremely eye-opening. And so for 2 weeks of time, you'll be able to vote. And so you could just take your time and vote and look at all these different projects and read up on what's going on in Cardano ecosystem so you can really feel excited about the future of what Cardano has to offer. Okay, so cheers. Stay tuned for the next videos coming up, where we're going to be looking at some really interesting metrics. I'm going to do some calculations. We're going to look at calculations on what we can do to spot undervalued projects. Like, how did I come up with NewNet? How did I come up with Nuvola? Okay, Cornucopias. Well, where do these projects come from? And what could we do to look at them and determine whether or not they're undervalued? So there's a few really simple calculations that we're going to look at. We're going to look at market cap, fully diluted market cap. We're going to look at TVL. We're going to look at things like this. And we're going to use those numbers in our favor. And I'm going to show you that. I'm really excited about that too. Okay, so until then, we'll see you soon. Stay strong. Stay informed. See you next time.